Most people spend their entire working lives saving for retirement without ever doing one specific calculation. A calculation so important, so fundamental, and so revealing that financial planners consider it the single most critical number in all of retirement planning. It is not your account balance. It is not your Social Security estimate. It is the exact total savings required on your first day of retirement to sustain a specific annual income for the rest of your life. And when most people finally do this calculation for the first time, the number stops them cold. Let us start with the most important retirement math equation most Americans have never been taught. It is called the retirement income formula, and it connects three numbers that determine whether your retirement is financially secure or financially terrifying. Those three numbers are your desired annual retirement income, your safe withdrawal rate, and the total savings required to sustain that income for a retirement that could last 25 to 30 years or more. Here is how the formula works. Financial researchers have spent decades studying how much money a retiree can safely withdraw from a diversified investment portfolio each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement period. The most widely accepted result of that research is what is known as the 4% rule. The 4% rule states that a retiree can withdraw 4% of their total retirement portfolio in the first year of retirement, adjust that amount annually for inflation, and have a very high statistical probability of their money lasting 30 years. Now apply that formula to $75,000 per year. If you want to spend $75,000 annually in retirement, and you plan to fund that entirely from your investment portfolio without any other income source, you divide $75,000 by 4%. The result is $1,875,000, essentially $1.9 million. That is the nest egg required on day one of retirement to sustainably generate $75,000 per year under the 4% withdrawal framework. But here is where it gets more complicated and more important. Almost nobody funds their retirement entirely from savings. Social Security changes this equation significantly for most Americans. If you are entitled to receive $24,000 per year in Social Security benefits, that reduces your required portfolio withdrawal from $75,000 to $51,000 per year. Apply the 4% rule to $51,000, and your required savings drops to $1.275 million. A significant difference, but still a number that the majority of Americans are not currently on track to reach. The gap between what the formula requires and what the median American has saved is the central financial challenge of retirement in this country. And understanding exactly where you stand in relation to this formula is the foundation of every smart retirement decision you will make from this point forward. Now that you know the target number, in the next chapter, we need to talk about the hidden forces that are quietly and constantly working to make that number bigger than you think. You did the math, you know the number. $1.9 million or somewhere close to it depending on your Social Security benefit. You have your target. You have your plan. But what if I told you that three powerful and largely invisible forces are working against that plan right now? Forces that most retirement calculators dramatically underestimate, and that failing to account for them could leave you running out of money a decade before you run out of life. These are the silent enemies of retirement income, and every single person planning to spend $75,000 a year in retirement needs to understand them completely. The first silent enemy is inflation, and before you think you already understand inflation, let me show you why most people dramatically underestimate what it does to retirement income over a 25 to 30-year period. Inflation does not just raise prices, it compounds. It grows on itself year after year the same way investment returns grow, except it works against you instead of for you. At a modest 3% annual inflation rate, the purchasing power of $75,000 today becomes the purchasing power of approximately $31,000 in 30 years. Said differently, To buy the same goods and services that cost $75,000 today, you will need approximately $182,000 per year in 30 years. Your retirement income plan must account for this reality, or it will fail slowly and silently over the back half of your retirement years when you are least equipped to compensate for the shortfall. The second silent enemy is healthcare inflation, which runs at approximately twice the rate of general inflation. Healthcare costs grow at 5 to 6% per year on average. For a retiree spending $75,000 annually with a modest healthcare budget of $15,000 built into that number, the healthcare portion of their expenses will roughly double every 12 to 14 years. By year 20 of retirement, that $15,000 healthcare line item has grown to $30,000 or more, while their investment portfolio has been shrinking through withdrawals. The third silent enemy is sequence of returns risk. This is the most dangerous and least discussed threat to a $75,000 per year retirement plan. Sequence of returns risk is the catastrophic impact of experiencing significant negative investment returns in the early years of retirement while simultaneously making large annual withdrawals. If your portfolio drops 30% in year 1 and 2 of retirement, and you are simultaneously withdrawing $75,000 per year, the damage to your remaining capital base is potentially irreversible, even if the market fully recovers in subsequent years. These three forces do not appear on most retirement planning spreadsheets. They work quietly in the background, and they have ended more retirement plans than any other factor in modern financial history. The silent enemies are real and they are powerful. But in Chapter 3, we reveal the strategies that wealthy retirees use to fight back, and the results will give you genuine hope. Here is what nobody tells you about generating $75,000 per year in retirement. The retirees who do it successfully, who spend comfortably, sleep soundly, and never lie awake wondering if their money will last, are not doing it the way most people think. They are not simply withdrawing from one big account and hoping for the best. They have built something, a specific structure, an income architecture that generates reliable money from multiple coordinated sources while simultaneously protecting their wealth from the forces trying to destroy it. Let me show you exactly how it works. The most financially secure retirees generating $75,000 per year in retirement income are almost never drawing that money from a single source. They have deliberately constructed what financial planners call a diversified income architecture, multiple coordinated income streams that work together to deliver reliable monthly income while protecting the long-term investment portfolio from excessive early withdrawals. The first layer of this architecture is guaranteed income. This includes Social Security benefits, pension payments if available, and potentially a portion of retirement assets converted into an income annuity. Guaranteed income is the foundation of any secure retirement income plan because it arrives every month regardless of what the stock market does, regardless of what inflation does, and regardless of how long you live. For a retiree targeting $75,000 per year, the goal is to cover as much of the essential fixed expenses, housing, healthcare, food, utilities, insurance, with guaranteed income sources as possible. The more of your essential expenses covered by guaranteed income, the less pressure your investment portfolio faces during market downturns. The second layer is portfolio income, systematic withdrawals from a diversified investment portfolio structured around the bucket system we discussed earlier. The first bucket covers 1 to 2 years of expenses in cash. The second bucket covers 3 to 7 years in moderate growth investments. The third bucket holds long-term growth assets untouched for a decade or more. This structure ensures that market downturns never force you to sell growth assets at depressed prices to fund current living expenses. The third layer is what sophisticated retirement planners call income gap management. This involves strategically drawing from different account types, taxable accounts, traditional retirement accounts, and Roth accounts, in a specific sequence designed to minimize lifetime tax burden while maximizing sustainable withdrawal rates. The order in which you draw from different account types can make a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime after-tax retirement income. Building this three-layer income architecture before retirement day one is the single most impactful financial planning exercise available to any pre-retiree. It transforms $75,000 per year from a fragile hope into a durable engineered outcome. The income architecture gives you the structure, but in Chapter 4, we need to talk about the factor that determines whether that structure holds up for 20 years or collapses in 10, and most people never even put it in their retirement plan. Here is the retirement planning variable that nobody wants to think about. Not because it is morbid, but because the math it produces is genuinely frightening for anyone who has not planned for it specifically. How long are you going to live? Because the answer to that question does not just affect your retirement plan, it determines whether your retirement plan succeeds or fails completely. And the data on American longevity in 2025 contains numbers that will fundamentally change how you think about how much money $75,000 per year actually requires. American life expectancy is rising faster than most retirement plans are adjusting for. A healthy 65-year-old American man today has a life expectancy that extends well into his mid-80s. A healthy 65-year-old American woman has a life expectancy that reaches into her late 80s. And critically, these are averages. Half of healthy 65-year-olds will live longer than the average. A meaningful percentage will live into their 90s or beyond. Planning your retirement finances around the average life expectancy means you have a 50% chance of outliving your money. Let us run the numbers on what longevity does to the $75,000 per year retirement equation. A retirement lasting 20 years from age 65 to 85 requires a fundamentally different savings target than a retirement lasting 30 years from 65 to 95. At a 4% withdrawal rate, a 20-year retirement requires approximately $1.4 million to sustainably generate $75,000 per year. A 30-year retirement requires $1.9 million. A 35-year retirement, increasingly common for people who retire at 60 in good health, requires over $2.1 million. The additional 15 years of retirement adds over $700,000 to your required savings target. That is not a rounding error. That is a second house. The longevity variable also dramatically amplifies the impact of every other retirement threat. Inflation that is manageable over 20 years becomes devastating over 35 years. Healthcare costs that are predictable in your 60s become enormously expensive and highly unpredictable in your 80s and 90s. Cognitive decline, which affects nearly 1/3 of Americans over 85, creates additional care costs that can consume hundreds of thousands of dollars in the final years of life. The financially smart response to longevity uncertainty is to plan for the longest realistic retirement your health profile suggests rather than the average. Overestimating how long you will live costs you nothing except a slightly more conservative withdrawal rate during your working years. Underestimating how long you will live can mean running out of money at 84 with a decade of life still ahead of you. Plan long, spend thoughtfully, and let the math protect you. You now understand the target number, the hidden enemies, the income architecture, and the longevity variable. In the final chapter, we pull everything together into the complete action plan that tells you exactly what to do starting today. Every chapter in this video has been building toward this moment. You now understand the math behind $75,000 per year in retirement. You understand the hidden forces working against it. You understand how successful retirees structure their income to make it sustainable. And you understand why longevity changes everything about the savings target. Now it is time to stop analyzing and start acting. Because the roadmap to a $75,000 per year retirement is clearer than most people think. But only if you start walking it with intention and urgency starting today. Let us build your complete retirement roadmap around the $75,000 per year income goal in clear sequential steps that apply regardless of your current age, current savings balance, or how far behind you feel right now. Step 1 is calculating your personal retirement income gap. Start by estimating your Social Security benefit using the My Social Security calculator at ssa.gov. Whatever that number is, subtract it from $75,000. The remainder is your annual portfolio withdrawal requirement. Divide that number by 4% to find your required retirement savings target. This is your personal number, not a generic estimate, but a calculation built specifically around your earnings history and your retirement income goal. Write it down. Put it somewhere you see it every day. Make it real. Step 2 is assessing your current savings trajectory honestly. Log into every retirement account you own and add the balances together. Then use a compound growth calculator to project what your current balance will grow to by your target retirement age, assuming you make no additional contributions. Then calculate what your balance will be if you contribute consistently at your current rate until retirement. Compare both projections to your required savings target. The gap between where you are heading and where you need to be is the problem you are solving. Seeing it clearly and specifically is the first requirement for solving it. Step 3 is maximizing every tax-advantaged savings vehicle available to you immediately. If you are under 50, the 2025 401k contribution limit is $23,000 per year. If you are over 50, the catch-up contribution limit adds another $7,500. Maximize your IRA contributions on top of that. If your employer offers a health savings account, contribute the maximum. An HSA is one of the most tax-efficient retirement savings vehicles in the entire American financial system, offering triple tax advantages unavailable anywhere else. Step 4 is building your income architecture now before you retire. Identify your guaranteed income sources. Model your Social Security optimization strategy, specifically the impact of delaying your claim. Research whether an income annuity makes sense for a portion of your portfolio. Design your 3-bucket withdrawal system. The retirees who generate $75,000 per year sustainably for 30 years built this architecture before they needed it, not after. Step 5 is reviewing and adjusting your plan every single year without exception. Tax laws change, market conditions change, your health changes, your family situation changes. The retirement plan that was perfectly calibrated at age 55 may need significant adjustment at 60. Annual reviews with a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor are not a luxury at this income target level. They are the maintenance schedule that keeps your retirement engine running. $75,000 per year in retirement is not a fantasy. It is a math problem with a specific solution. You now have the formula, the awareness, the architecture, and the roadmap. The only thing left is the decision to act on it. If this video gave you clarity and confidence about your retirement income goal, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel because every single week we bring you the kind of specific, actionable retirement education that most financial advisors charge hundreds of dollars per hour to explain. And share this video with someone who is working hard and deserves to retire comfortably, because $75,000 per year is achievable for far more people than the financial industry wants you to believe.